Hi, I'm Rod Gilley. I'm a writer and a reader. Today I'm announcing my TBR for July 2023. A great book reviewer, Cliff from Cliff's Dark Gems, started something cool that I'm now doing as well. Well, of course, I'm going to start with him. Here's a shout out to Cliff's Dark Gems. It's a great booktube channel with lots of great stuff. There's a link in the description. Check it out. Yeah, Cliff from Cliff's Dark Gems really did influence my TBR for this month. In one way, he had a great video where he described his 5 favorite H.P. Lovecraft stories. And he also had this really cool video of horror short stories. Now, I'm a big fan of short stories. I write them and I love to read them. I'm usually hard pressed for time, and a short story is just quicker to read. And a lot of them are very, very entertaining. So this month's TBR has 1 poem and 3 short stories. I've got the works of H.P. Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe, and Rebecca Crunden. So let's get right into it. First of all, H.P. Lovecraft. Now, I got this book on Amazon for like $1, and it's a full, complete collection. Great buy. And within that book is a story that I thought was well worth the TBR this month. And in addition, it was one of Cliff's picks. And it's called The Color Out of Space. So I'm really looking forward to checking that out. I don't know anything about it. Believe it or not, I don't think I've ever read Lovecraft. So this would be a good place to start. Now, secondly, I have this book, which is the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. And again, this was a collection book on Amazon that was around $1. So you definitely want to snag these, get these books, because they're at an amazing price. And Edgar Allan Poe, you can't really mention him without thinking of The Raven. Believe it or not, my first experience with The Raven was a movie. It starred Vincent Price and Boris Karloff and Peter Lorre. And this tell you how old I am, but I was a kid. I was pretty young. I was so young that I honestly thought Vincent Price was Edgar Allan Poe. But anyway, you can't mention Poe without mentioning The Raven. So during this month's TBR, I'm going to include the poem, The Raven. And the twist on this is that, millions of people, professors, students, people from all walks of life have read and given their opinions and analyzed The Raven for so many years. But I'm going to give a simple man from Kentucky, that's me, I'm going to give the opinion of what do I get out of it? What did I get out of that poem? And I'll share that with you. In addition to that, since I used The Raven, so super famous, I found a work by Edgar Allan Poe in that book that I have never heard of, and I think that it is rarely known. You'll have to correct me if it's very popular and I just don't know it. But it's a short story called Never Bet the Devil Your Head. I'll put the little story cover up there. Sounds interesting, and I have never heard of it. So it'd be fun to include that in the TBR. And then the final selection that I want to include in the TBR is kind of interesting because Rebecca Crunden, I've been following her on Twitter for a while, and I didn't even know she was an author. She just does an awful lot of really interesting tweets, and I find most of what she does on there to be very interesting, and I retweet a lot of her stuff. She retweets a lot of mine, and I think of her as, a writer friend or booktuber friend. I don't know her, but just from hanging out on Twitter, I've really come to enjoy her tweets. And so when I discovered she was a writer, well, of course I had to include her in this TBR. So I've chosen The Man and the Crow. And again, like the other stories here, I don't know anything about it except that I wrote a little book, a little short story collection called The Hero, the Fear, and the Date. And it's something like 40 pages. And I thought for sure that, well, that was probably the shortest little book on Amazon. Well, actually, Rebecca Crunden beat me. The Man and the Crow is about 24 pages. So she has the new record, as far as I know, for the shortest book published on Amazon. So that's enough to get me interested right off the bat. But yeah, that's included in the TBR this month. So during the month of July, I'll read all of these tales. And in August, I'll release story reviews for each one of these. So H.P. Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe, Rebecca Crunden. Oh yeah, we're in for a treat, ain't we? All right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this little TBR for July 2023. And again, those reviews will be released in August. So I look forward to seeing you. Have a great day.